Listen close. Let's step back to the moment this all began, just hours ago, when the night was still and the world seemed to hold its breath. A lone deputy was driving down a narrow twisting road, the kind that weaves through empty fields and fades into shadow. The town was asleep, its houses dark, their windows like eyes shut tight against the night. His radio hummed faintly, an old folk song struggling through static, its melody thin, almost ghostly. He was tired, his eyes heavy from a long shift, his coffee cold and bitter in the cup holder. He'd seen plenty in his years, fights, accidents, tragedies that left scars on the heart. But tonight something felt wrong. The air was too thick, too quiet, like the world was waiting for something to break. He took a sip of his coffee, wincing at the taste, trying to shake the unease creeping up his spine. The road stretched on, the mountain looming ahead, its shadow swallowing the faint moonlight. His headlights swept across the field, catching tall grass swaying gently, though no breeze stirred the air. Then his radio went dead. No static, no song. Just silence, sharp and sudden. He frowned, tapped the radio once, twice, but it stayed silent. He leaned forward, squinting into the dark. And that's when a smell hit him. Sharp. Sour. Like wet earth mixed with something rotten, something wrong. It filled the car, thick and heavy, forcing him to roll down the window to breathe. That's when he saw it. A faint glow in the distance, flickering in the field like a candle fighting to stay lit. At first, he thought it was a fire, maybe kids sneaking out. But as he slowed the car, his headlights caught something else. A shape lying still in the grass, surrounded by stones arranged in a circle so perfect it didn't belong. His heart pounded. His breath caught. He grabbed his flashlight, stepped out, and shone the beam across the field. The light trembled in his hand as it landed on the figure. A man lying flat, arms at his sides, eyes closed like he was sleeping. But he wasn't sleeping. He was gone. "Dispatch," he said into his radio, his voice shaking. "I've got a body out here in the field off Route 17. Send backup. Now." Minutes later, the field was alive with noise and light. Sirens wailed, tires crunched on gravel, and red and blue flashes lit up the night like a warning. Officers spread out, their boots sinking into the damp earth, their faces tight with focus. They moved carefully, like the ground might shift beneath them. The stones around the body drew their eyes first. Smooth. Polished. Not like rocks you'd find scattered in a field. Each one was identical, perfectly placed to form a circle that felt almost holy, almost wrong. And in the center lay the man, his face calm, his body still, like he'd been laid there with purpose, with care. Listen close, here's where the story twists. Where the air grows colder and the truth grows stranger. One of the officers, a veteran with years of death behind him, knelt beside the body. He reached out, expecting the cold, stiff feel of a corpse, the familiar weight of rigor mortis. But when his fingers touched the man's arm, he pulled back like he'd been stung. His eyes widened. His face paled. Another officer, younger, less seasoned, asked, "What's wrong?" The veteran didn't answer at first. He just stared at the body, his hand hovering like he was afraid to touch it again. Then, in a whisper, he said, "He's warm. This guy's been dead for hours, but he's warm." The younger officer scoffed, thinking it was a mistake, a trick of the cold night air. He knelt down, pressed his fingers to the man's wrist, and froze. The skin was warm, soft, like someone who'd been alive just moments ago. But there was no pulse, no breath, no life. The officers looked at each other, their radios crackling with static, the air around them growing heavier, thicker, like it was pressing down on them. They checked the reports, the evidence, the timeline. The man had been dead for at least 12 hours, maybe more. Rigor mortis had set in. The body stiff in all the right places. But the warmth? It wouldn't fade. It clung to the skin like a secret, defying everything they knew. What could do this? What could keep a body warm when death had already taken it? The officers tried to reason it out. Maybe the ground was warm, but the earth was cold, damp from a recent rain. Maybe the stones held heat, but they were as cold as the night itself. Maybe some chemical, some trick, but nothing fit. They stood there, their flashlights cutting through the fog, their voices low, as if speaking too loud they might wake something they couldn't see. They didn't know what I'm about to tell you. They couldn't feel what I'm asking you to imagine, because this wasn't just a death. This was something bigger. Something older. Something that didn't follow the rules of this world. Let me tell you about that field, because it's not just any field. The people in town don't talk about it much, but they know. They've always known. It's a place they avoid, where the grass seems to whisper and the air feels heavier than it should. Old-timers share stories passed down from their grandparents. Strange lights in the sky, shadows that move without a source, voices that call your name when no one's there. They call it cursed. Haunted. A place where the world feels thin, like you could step through it and end up somewhere else. Nobody builds there. Nobody lingers. Farmers let it lie fallow. And even animals seem to steer clear, their instincts sharper than human reason. The stones, though, those stones are new. No one remembers seeing them before. Not like this. They're too perfect, too smooth, like they were carved by hands that knew more than humans should. The officers noticed it, too. No tire tracks. No footprints. No signs of anyone dragging those stones into place. They were heavy, far too heavy for one person to move, and there was no trace of machinery, no ruts in the earth. It was as if the stones had appeared, placed by something that didn't need to walk, didn't need to touch the ground. And the body in the center? It wasn't dragged, wasn't dropped. It was laid there, carefully, deliberately, like a piece of art. Like a message. Who was this man? I'll tell you soon. But first, you need to feel the weight of what happened here. This wasn't an accident. Not a random tragedy. This was intentional. Planned. Carried out by something that doesn't answer to the laws of this world. The warmth in that body wasn't life. It was something else, something holding on to it, refusing to let it go cold. It was a sign. A mark. A warning written in the language of the unseen. The officers felt it, even if they didn't say it. The air was wrong. The silence too heavy, like the field itself was watching them, waiting. That presence, it wasn't human. It wasn't kind. It was old, older than the mountain, older than the stories whispered by the town. It moved in the shadows, unseen, but felt, its weight pressing down on every heart in that field. It didn't come with noise or fire or thunder. It came with silence. With certainty. With a power that made the stars seem small. And it wasn't there by chance. It had a purpose, a reason, and that reason was tied to the man lying in the grass. This man, he wasn't a stranger to the dark. He'd walked paths most would never dare. Made choices that tied him to forces he couldn't control. He thought he could use them, bend them to his will, gain power, wealth, control. He thought he could make a deal and walk away unscathed. But you can't bargain with what's older than time. You can't outsmart what sees every corner of your soul. He called to the shadows, invited them in, and they answered. They gave him what he wanted, for a time. But the dark always collects. It always comes for what's owed. Let me take you back further, to understand who this man was. Because his story didn't begin in that field. He was someone the town knew. Someone who blended in, smiled at the right moments, said the right words. He was at the diner on Sundays, sipping coffee, laughing with the locals. He was at the market picking out apples, chatting about the weather. But behind his eyes, there was something else. Something heavy. Something hidden. He'd always been drawn to things he shouldn't be drawn to, secrets whispered in the dark, promises of power that came with a price. He wasn't born evil, but he chose it, step by step, decision by decision, until the shadows claimed him as their own. Years ago, he found something, or it found him. A book, maybe, buried in the attic of an old house, its pages brittle, its words strange. Or a voice in the night, low and smooth, promising things no human could offer. Or a dream that felt too real, too vivid, pulling him toward the field. It offered him things: success, influence, a life beyond the ordinary. And he took it. He spoke the words, made the promises, gave what was asked. At first it worked. He rose higher than anyone expected, gained things others envied. People noticed his new car, his sharp clothes, the way doors seemed to open for him. But every gift from the dark comes with a chain. And he didn't see it until it was too late. The town didn't know. Not really. They saw the man they wanted to see, the neighbor, the friend, the one who always had a smile. But there were signs, small things they ignored. The way he'd disappear for days, coming back with eyes that didn't quite meet yours. The way animals shied away from him, dogs growling, cats hissing. The way the air seemed to change when he walked into a room, like a shadow followed him, just out of sight. He hid it well. But the truth always finds a way out. And it did, in that field. The night he died, it wasn't by chance. The stones, the circle, the warmth, they were a message. A signature. A warning. The dark had come to collect, and it didn't come with anger or chaos. It came with precision. With silence. With a power that left no room for doubt. The man had made a deal, and when he tried to break it, when he thought he could walk away, the shadows reminded him. You don't leave the dark. It leaves you. What did he do? He betrayed the forces he'd called on. He took their gifts and tried to keep them. Tried to run from the price. He thought he could hide in the town, blend in, live a normal life. But the dark doesn't forget. It doesn't forgive. It waits, patient as the earth, and when the time comes, it takes what's owed. That's what happened in that field. The collector came, not with fire or thunder, but with a quiet certainty. And it left a body behind, not as a victim, but as a sign. The officers didn't understand, not fully. They stood in that field, their flashlights trembling, their voices low. They felt it, the weight, the presence, the sense that something was watching. They checked the body again, hoping for answers, but the warmth only deepened the mystery. They looked at the stones, at the untouched ground, at the circle that seemed to hum with a power they couldn't name. They wrote their reports, took their pictures, but their hands shook, their hearts raced. They knew, deep down, that this wasn't just a crime scene. It was something more. Something they'd never forget. The town felt it too. By morning, the whispers had started. People gathered at the diner, at the gas station, at the church, trading stories about the field, about the man, about what it all meant. Some called it a curse. Others a judgment. Others something older, something they didn't have words for. Kids stopped playing near the field, their parents pulling them close when they passed by. The air felt different now, heavier, like the town itself was holding its breath, waiting for what might come next. And it didn't stop there. Strange things began to happen. Small at first, easy to brush off. Lights flickered in houses that had never had problems. Dogs barked at nothing, their hackles raised, staring into the dark. People woke from dreams they couldn't explain, images of stones and shadows lingering in their minds. The town wasn't the same, not after that night. It was as if the presence in the field had left a mark, not just on the ground, but on every heart, every home. Let me tell you more about that field, because it holds secrets older than the town itself. Long before the houses were built, before the roads were paved, that field was a place of stories. The native people who lived here first spoke of it as a sacred place, a meeting point between worlds. They left offerings there, not out of worship, but out of respect, to keep the balance, to keep what lived there at peace. When settlers came, they ignored the warnings. Built their farms, their towns, but the fields stayed empty. No one could explain why crops wouldn't grow there, why machines broke down, why the air felt wrong. They called it bad luck, but it was more than that. The stories grew over time. A hunter who went missing, his rifle found in the field, untouched. A child who wandered too close and came back speaking of voices no one else could hear. A farmer who tried to clear the land and woke to find his tools scattered, his fences torn down. The field wasn't just a place. It was a threshold, a doorway, a place where the rules of this world didn't apply. And now, with a body lying in a circle of stones, the town was remembering those stories, feeling their truth in a way they never had before. The man in the field was no stranger to these secrets. He'd heard the stories, maybe even laughed at them, but he was drawn to the field, to its power, to what it promised. He wasn't the first. Others had gone before him, seeking answers, seeking power, seeking things they didn't understand. Some came back changed. Others didn't come back at all. He thought he was different, thought he could take what the field offered and walk away. He was wrong, and the price he paid was a warning, not just for him, but for everyone. But let's go deeper, because this story isn't just about one man or one night. It's about the town, the people, the choices they make without knowing. The field has always been there, watching, waiting, a silent witness to the lives that unfold around it. The man wasn't the first to feel its pull, and he won't be the last. Others in the town have felt it, too, though they might not admit it. The teenager who sneaks out at night, drawn to the field's edge, feeling a thrill he can't explain. The old woman who prays harder when she passes by, her fingers clutching a cross. The farmer who avoids it, though he can't say why. The field calls, not loudly, but quietly, persistently, like a whisper you can't ignore. And the town has its own shadows. The man in the field wasn't alone in his choices. Others have walked similar paths, maybe not as far, maybe not as dark, but close enough to feel the chill. The shopkeeper who lies to make a sale. The neighbor who spreads gossip to feel powerful. The parent who turns a blind eye to their child's pain. They're all steps, small steps, toward the same edge. The dark doesn't always come with stones and circles. Sometimes it comes in whispers, in choices, in moments you think don't matter. But they do. They always do. The officers who found the body, they felt it, too. They went back to their station, wrote their reports, tried to move on, but the field stayed with them. The veteran officer, he couldn't sleep that night. He kept seeing the stones, feeling the warmth, hearing the silence that wasn't silent. The younger officer, he laughed it off at first, but days later, he found himself driving past the field, slowing down, staring into the dark. They didn't talk about it, not really, but it changed them. It changed everyone who was there that night. The town changed, too. The whispers grew louder, the stories wilder. People started locking their doors at night, something they'd never done before. Kids were told to stay away from the field, but some didn't listen. They'd sneak out, daring each other to step inside the circle, to touch the stones, to see if they felt it, too. And they did. Maybe not the warmth, maybe not the presence, but something. A chill. A weight. A feeling that made them run home and hide under their blankets. The church became fuller on Sundays. People seeking answers, seeking comfort. The pastor spoke of faith, of light, of trusting in something greater, but even he glanced toward the field when he thought no one was watching. The diner became a hub of stories, each one stranger than the last. An old man swore he'd seen lights in the field years ago, lights that moved like they were alive. A woman claimed she'd heard her name called from the grass, though she'd never told anyone. A child drew a picture of the stones unprompted, and his mother burned it, too afraid to ask where he'd seen them. The field became a legend. But it was more than that. It was a mirror, reflecting the town's fears, its secrets, its choices. The man in the field, his name came out eventually, whispered at first, then shouted in headlines. People gasped, shook their heads, said they'd never have guessed. But some weren't surprised. They'd seen the shadow in his eyes, felt the unease when he was near. They hadn't known what it was, not then, but now they did. He'd walked with the dark, and the dark had claimed him. His story spread beyond the town, carried by news trucks and curious reporters. They came with cameras, with questions, with theories that didn't come close to the truth. They talked of cults, of serial killers, of science gone wrong. They didn't understand. Couldn't understand. The field wasn't a crime scene. It was a reckoning. A moment when the unseen stepped into the light, if only for a moment. But this isn't just about him, or the field, or the town. This is about you. About the choices you make. The paths you walk. The man in the field thought he could play with the dark and walk away. He thought he could take without giving, gain without losing. He was wrong. And his story is a warning, carved in stone, written in warmth that shouldn't be there. It's a sign that the dark is real. That it watches. That it waits. But here's the truth you can hold on to. The dark is not the end. Your life, your path, your destiny, it's not written by the shadows. It's written by something greater. Something that's been there since before the world began. Not a voice from a field, not a whisper from a stone, but a quiet, steady pull toward hope. Toward light. Towards something that doesn't break. There is a purpose for you. A reason you're still here. A direction that no mistake, no failure, no darkness can undo. Before you were born, before the stars were set in the sky, your story was already being woven. Not with fear, not with chains, but with love, with intention, with a power that nothing can break. When a door opens for you, a chance, a moment, a new beginning, walk through it. Don't let fear stop you. Don't let doubt whisper louder than hope. And when a door closes, when something ends, when a path is blocked, when an answer doesn't come, it's not to hurt you. It's to protect you. To guide you toward what's actually meant for you. You might not see it now. The world might feel heavy. The path unclear. The answers far away. That's okay. Courage isn't about seeing every step. It's about trusting that there's a way forward, even when the air feels thick, even when the silence feels alive, even when nothing makes sense. There is something working in your life even now. Even when you can't feel it. Every moment. Every breath. Every choice. It's all part of something bigger. Something beautiful. Something that will shine brighter than any shadow you've ever walked through. So as you hear about this man, this field, this mystery, let it be a reminder. The choices you make matter. The paths you choose shape what's to come. Stay away from the edges that whisper too sweetly. Don't call to what you can't control. Don't bargain with what you don't understand. Choose the light. Choose the truth. Choose the path that leads to life. And trust that you are not alone, even in the darkest nights, even in the heaviest silences, even when the fog rolls in and you can't see 2 feet ahead. Be patient with your own story. The timing of things, the doors, the moments, the answers, it's not random. It's not cruel. What feels like a delay is often just preparation. What feels like a loss is often just redirection. Even when the world feels still, even when the air feels heavy, hold fast. Your story is far from over. It's just beginning. And it's going to be greater than you could ever dream. The field, the stones, the warmth, they bear a warning. But they also bear a promise. The dark may come. But the light can win, if you choose it. Every single time.